Hello and welcome to Empower IAS. Uh, Hopefully you all are good. Today in this session we will discuss or try to solve this question paper of GS part. Let's without delay start outrightly. Question number 1. The question number 1 is from the Constitution part, and that is under the Indian Constitution, concentration of wealth violates. Concentration of wealth, the option is the right to equality, DPSP, the right to freedom, and the concept of welfare. In this option, DPSP, we can see that under this socialistic ideals, our constitutions actually guides that there should be minimized gap between this poor and rich and poor. So the first question we can see that this directive principle is the right answer for where this Indian Constitution concentrate on the concentration on wealth violation actually relates to this DPSP. The next question is what is the position of right to property in India? Right to property, we all know, is the earlier it was the fundamental rights, but now it is legal rights under Article 300A. So this legal right is the answer here. Legal rights. The article pertaining to this is 300A. After this 44th Amendment, this changed into this legal right. Earlier it was under fundamental rights. So question number 2 is quite easy. The next is question number 3, and that is what was the exact constitutional status of India on 26th January 1950. The constitutional position of India on 26th Jan, this date is important. This date is the proclamation of the nature of the state, and we all know that after some amendment, this word secular is inserted in our constitution, but this word does not actually change the nature of the state. The nature of the state was sovereign, socialist, democratic, and republic, even though the word is inserted later in this preamble of our constitution. So we can say that the question number 3, this answer C is correct. Other option we can see that democratic republic, in this our Republic of India, the sovereignty is not there. Again, the nature of the state even before inserting the word secular was secular, so the answer would be sovereign, secular, democratic republic. Now the question number 4 is question number 4. This is set C. Question number 4 is the constitutional government means. The constitutional government, the first option is a representative government of a nation with federal structure, a government whose head enjoys nominal powers, a government whose head enjoys real powers, a government limited by the terms of the constitution. We see the constitutional government. The word itself connotes that there is a government and that government is working under these constitutions. So the answer would be a government limited by the terms of the constitution. That is, government is not having unlimited power. So the power is limited by the or given by the constitution itself. So question number 4 has the correct answer would be D. Now question number 5, with reference to India, the terms Hal B, Ho and Q pertains to this term is actually a term of language, very old language, and that belongs to the Aryan community. So here the answer is again D. Now come to the next question, and that is question number 6. And the question says that consider the following statements in respect of titles under the Article 18(1) of the Constitution of consider the following statements in respect of Bharat Ratna and Padma awards. So keep in mind these awards. The first statement is Bharat Ratna and Padma awards are titles under Article 18(1) of the Constitution. Article 18(1) deals with educational or military titles. So the first statement is wrong. The next statement is Padma awards, which were instituted in the year 1954, was suspended only once. Yes, it was suspended for continuously 2 years once. So the option 2 is correct. Now come to the third statement, and that is the number of Bharat Ratna award is restricted to a maximum of 5. So with only this option 1 that is wrong, we can eliminate this and this. All 3 options will be eliminated and our answer would be B, that is 2 and 3. Padma awards suspended only once and the maximum is 5. Now the next. The next question is question number 7, and that is the statement says, consider the following statements. Statement number 1 is the United Nations Capital Development Fund UNCDF and the Arbor Day Foundation have recently recognized Hyderabad as 2020 Tree City of the World. Yes, Hyderabad is recognized as the Tree City. But this Hyderabad is given this recognition by Abroad Foundation and Food and Agricultural Organization, that is also an UN agency. So you can say the Food and Agriculture Organization of UN agency along with Abroad Foundation recognized Hyderabad as the city of the tree city of the world. So in statement 1 we found Abroad Foundation and not FOA, rather we have Capital Development Fund here in the statement. So the statement, because of this not mentioning FOA and mentioning National Capital Development Fund, so the statement 1 is wrong. The statement 2 is Hyderabad was selected for the recognition of year following its commitment to grow and maintain the urban forest. Yes, the tree city recognition is given for this maintenance of urban forest. So statement 1 is wrong and 2 is right, correct. In the option we have this D option where statement 1 is wrong, not correct, and statement 2 is correct. So the answer is D. The next question again we can see is question number 8. And that is consider the following statement in respect of the Laureus World Sports Award which was instituted in the year 2000. Yes, this award is instituted in the year 2000 and the award American golfer Tiger Woods was the first winner of the inaugural winner, or you can say the first winner is Tiger Woods. So the statement 1 is correct. The award was received mostly by Formula 1 players so far. According to the data available, we can see the most awards of this Laureus World Sports Awards goes to not Formula 1 but tennis players. So the statement 2 is wrong. Come to the third statement. Third statement says Roger Federer received this award maximum number of times compared to others. This statement is also correct. So the Roger Federer received maximum number of times, a single individual receiving this award, and the American golfer Tiger Woods was the inaugural winner. So the 2 statement is correct and the 1 and 3 are correct, and the award received mostly by Formula 1 is wrong because the award mostly won by these tennis players. So we can see that 1 and 3 is the option is C. Here the question number 8. For question number 8, the option C is the correct option. Okay. Now come to the next question, and that is question number 9. Question number 9 is consider the following statements in respect of the 32nd Summer Olympics. Let's see, what is this? 32nd, it is about the 32nd Summer Olympics. The first statement is the official motto for this Olympics is A New World. So the motto, if you see, for the 32nd Summer Olympics is not a new world, rather it is united by emotions. So the first statement itself is wrong. Now the second statement is sport, climbing, surfing, skateboarding, karate and baseball are included in this Olympics. So like karate and other things that is mentioned here, they are provisionally included in this Summer Olympics for 2024. That is, it is going to be included. Now it is provisionally included for the future Summer Olympics. So this statement is regarding this 32nd Summer Olympics is wrong, because it is not included in this Summer Olympic, but the Olympic that is going to be held in 2024. So this statement is wrong. The first is wrong and the second is wrong. Then our correct option would be neither one nor two, and that is D. That is D. So the question number 9 is, the answer of question number 9 is D. Next question is question number 10, and that is consider the following statement in respect of ICC World Test Championship. The first statement is the finalists were decided by the number of matches, not by the number of matches they won, but the points they scored. So the first is wrong. New Zealand was ranked ahead of England. This is again wrong. So this question number 10, we have two statements and both statements are wrong. So the answer would be neither one nor two, and that is option number D. So next question is question number 11, and that is consider the following statements. The first statement is right to the city is an agreed human right, and the UN Habitat monitors the commitments made by each country in this regard. Right to the city gives every occupant of the city the right to reclaim public spaces and public participation in the city. Right to the city means that the state cannot deny any public service or facility to the unauthorized. Here, this right to the city is an agreed human right. Yes, it is agreed human rights that had to be protected by the states. It is an agreed human rights, and the UN Habitat monitors the commitments made by each country in this regard. Almost every members of the UN actually agreed to protect the human rights under this right to the city, and this the goal set by this UN Habitat monitors. Right to the city gives every occupant of the city the right to reclaim public spaces and public participation in the city. Right to the city means that the state cannot deny any public services or facility to the unauthorized colonies in the city. Right to the city means that the state cannot deny any public services or facility to the unauthorized colonies in the city. So the right to the city is an agreed human right, and the UN Habitat monitors commitment made by each countries. There are some commitment, and commitment is not legally bound, and the monitors UN Habitat set the goals. So logically the monitors would be this UN Habitat. So I think this statement first is right. The second statement is right to the city gives every occupant of the city. Yes, this is again the right option. So 1 and 2 I think is 1 and 2 is the right options. Here the statement is right to the city means that the state cannot deny any public service. There are many public services that a state cannot provide to unauthorized colonies. So not every public services is bound to be provided to unauthorized colonies. So statement 3 could be wrong. So I think first and 2, that is option C is correct here for question number 11. Now move on to the next question, and that is question number 12. Question number 12 is with reference to India, consider the following statements. First is judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of the concerned magistrate and such accused is locked up in police station. This statement is wrong. Why? Because the judicial custody, as we have seen recently in the Aryan Khan case, that he has given judicial custody, that means he is not kept in this police station under, or you can say police lockup. But investigating authority can investigate, can interrogate after the permission is granted for that. So the judicial custody, in judicial, when the person is granted this judicial custody, that means the accused is in not police lockup or police station, rather in jail. So obviously this statement is wrong. Next, during judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without the approval of the court. Yes, the approval is granted by the court to interrogate that accused. So this statement is correct. 1 is wrong and 2 is correct. You have to choose the correct one. So the correct is only 2. Answer is B. For 12, answer is B. Okay, now move on to the next one, and that is question number 13, which says that with reference to India, consider the following statements. The first statement is, when a prisoner makes out a sufficient case, parole cannot be denied to such prisoner because it becomes a matter of his or her right. Yes, a state cannot deny parole arbitrarily. So we can take this statement as right one. Parole cannot be denied. The second statement is, state governments have their own prisoners release on parole rules. Parole rules is specified through, you can say, judiciary, but states may have their own prisoners release. So again this statement could be right. So for 13, if statement 1 and 2 is right, the answer is this, both 1 and 2, because we are asked to choose the correct one. The next question is and that is at the national level, which ministry is nodal agency to ensure efficient implementation of scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers? Yes, for scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers, our Ministry of Tribal Welfares is nodal agency. So Ministry of Tribal Welfares is the correct answer. You can choose the answer here fast. The next question is question number 15, and that is a legislation which confers on the executive or administrative authority are unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power in the matter of application of law. If suppose this is the situation, an administrative authority is having unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power, then the law violates which one of the following articles of the Constitution? Because this says the statement says the authority has unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power. Whatever the agency authority wants to apply to violate somebody's fundamental rights or other legal rights, they can do so, because this is uncontrolled and unguided. In that situation, which one of the following rights is going to violate? So here we can see that because this arbitrarily he can sometimes favor some groups, sometimes disfavor others. So Article 14 that gives an equality before law and equal protection of law could be violated because of this arbitration of application of this power. So this application, because of this uncontrolled discretionary power, violates Article 14. The answer is A. Now come to the next question, and that is question number 16. The question says, which one of the following in Indian polity is essential feature that indicates that it is a federal character? We have essential features of the federal character, in which we see this independent judiciary is one of the essential feature of this federal character. So the question is, the answer is A. Now move on to the next, and that is question number 17, which says which one of the following best defines the term state? The term state is politically organized group of people having central authority. And while looking into this definition that is given there, we found this option B, that is more close to the term state. A politically organized group of the people with definite territory and having central authority. Okay, so the answer for question number 17 is B. Now next question is question number 18, and that is, with reference to the Indian judiciary, which of the following statements, the statements are as statement number 1, any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to sit and act as Supreme Court just by the Chief Justice of India with prior permission of the President of India. A High Court in India has the power to review its own judgment as the Supreme Court. Yes, this both statement is correct. Supreme Court with prior permission can call back to the High Court judges temporarily for certain work at the Supreme Court. So the statement 1 is correct, and this judicial review, High Court can review its own decisions. So a High Court in India has the power to review its own. So 1 and 2 both are correct. For this we have option C. So the answer is C. Now next is question number 19, and that is with reference to India, consider the following statements. There is only one citizenship and domicile. Yes, we follow this one citizenship and one domicile. A person at one time cannot be domicile or permanent residents of two places. So yes, one citizenship and one domicile. The next is a citizen by birth only can become the head of government. Even though there is many hue and cry for bringing this legislation in India, yet Constitution do not give such provisions for a citizen by birth only can become the head of a state. So by now you can call this statement 2 as incorrect. The next statement is a foreigner once granted the citizenship cannot be deprived of it under any circumstances. Foreigner can be deprived of citizenship once granted by India if the foreigner acquires citizenship of another country. So this is the case. Here you can see that option 3 is also not correct. So for question number 19, we found that 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect, and 3 is incorrect. So the option is 1 only, that is option A is correct. Now move on to the next question, and that is question number 20. Question number 20 is about liberty, safeguard of liberty, and this is which one of the following factors constitute the best safeguard of liberty in a liberal democracy. In a liberal democracy where there are very less restrictions, we can see centralization of power is against the word liberal, and you can have the democracy with centralization of power, but there is liberal democracy that is less control or less rules and regulations, and again this has no relation with the liberal democracy. Elected government, even if a government is elected, it doesn't guarantee that your liberty, or you can say this separation of power is there. Separation of power also do not guarantee your liberty or liberty in a liberal democracy. So the option is A, committed judiciary. If judiciary is committed to provide liberty of thought, expression, and many liberties there, so this judiciary can intervene and it will help you to have this kind of liberty. So answer would be this A. Now move on to the next question, and that is question number 21, and it says that water can dissolve more substances than any other liquid, because we all know that water is a universal everything we pour in water, that water dissolves those substances. Why it is so? Because water is polar in the sense its molecules actually breaks into cations and anions. So this is polars giving two poles, that means dipolar. So if we can see the options, it is a dipolar in nature, it is correct one. And again you can see the other options, good conductor of it, we know that is not so. So we have found this option A, there is no need to go on the other options. So the option A is correct here. Now the question number 22 is, question number 22 is about these sodium lamps and lead lamps. With reference to the street lighting, how do sodium lamps differ from lead lamps? Sodium and lead. For sodium, there is a 360-degree light produced in sodium, and in LED the light is produced at 180 degrees. So first difference is this, and the option 1 is correct. The next statement is, as street lights, sodium lamps have longer lifespan than LED lamps, and we know that sodium lamps have life of about 24,000 hours, while LED lights lifespan starts from the minimum life is 25,000 hours to 2.5 and 2 lakh hours. So in comparison to sodium lamps, LED lamps have much longer life. But the statement says that street light sodium lamps have longer life. This is not so. This is just opposite. LED lamps have longer life than sodium. So the statement 2 is incorrect. Now the statement 3 is, the spectrum of visible light from sodium lamp is almost monochromatic, while LED lamps offer significant color advantage in straight lighting. So this statement is true, because we know that this spectrum of the sodium lamps a kind of yellowish and monochromatic. So this statement is again true. So 1 and 3 is 1 and 3. 1 is correct, 2 is correct, and 3 is correct. The option is 1 and 3. Yes, we have this option. I thought we don't have this option, and the statement is 1 and 3 are correct, and we're not having this option. But yes, option is there. So the answer is C. Now the next question, and that is 23rd. The question is about AS2. The term AS2 is talked about in the context of, what is AS2? AS2 is a kind of enzyme, and the enzyme is called angiotensin converting enzyme. So the first thing we should know is this is an enzyme, and that is angiotensin converting enzyme. Okay, and this enzyme is a specific receptor of SARS. So we have recently seen this COVID crisis. So in that we can see this ACE2 is a kind of receptor of SARS or SARS-CoV-2 virus. So for SARS virus, this is what? This enzyme is the receptor one. Even though there is no direct relation, direct relation is established between this COVID-19 and AS2, but this is there. This AS2 may affect the susceptibility to COVID-19. Severity is not established, but it may affect the COVID diseases, and we know that this COVID disease is a kind of viral disease. So it is correct in context of viral diseases. So for question number 23, the answer is D. Now move on to the next question, and this question is 24th, in which BPA, bisphenol, a cause of concern in a structural or key component in the manufacture of which of the following kinds of plastics. So we must be knowing where this BPA is used. BPA is cause of concern, and FDA has recommended something related to this BPA. This is a polycarbonate, a structural component that is used in polycarbonate or structural component in polycarbonate beverage bottles. So those bottles having a kinds of, you can say, milk and other things, that bottle have this BPA, and even the metal can coating is also made by this BPA, and FDA recommended that to no longer provide for use of certain BPA based materials in baby bottles. So baby bottle supply cups where this should not be used. So our answer is polycarbonated used in the baby bottles, and it should not be used as per recommendation of FDA. So the answer is polycarbonate. The next question is The next question is (25th). And the question says, triclosan considered harmful when exposed to high levels for a long time is most likely present in which of the following? It is already said this is triclosan is harmful when exposed to high levels for a long time. These harmful elements is most likely to present in which of the following? Question number 25. This triclosan is mostly used in liquid gel, soaps, baby washes. So we can collectively say that this comes under the products of toiletries, soaps, etc. Many kinds of soaps are there. So the answer is toiletries, where the long time of exposure with high levels of triclosan could be harmful. Okay, so the answer is D, toiletries. Now move on to the next, and that is 26th questions. Which one of the following is a reason why astronomical distances are measured in light years? For this, we can say that astronomical distances are measured in light years. Why? If we find any relation between these distances among stellar bodies to not change. Yes, distances among stellar bodies, even if it do not change, however it is changed, the statement itself is not correct, because most of the stellar bodies moves in elliptical cycle, and aphelion, perihelion kinds of things happens, and this is why that is why sometimes the distances could be shorter, sometimes longer. So this statement itself is not correct. So we are not going to establish any relation between light years or this or not. Statement is wrong, so just take it as incorrect. Another one is gravity of stellar bodies does not change. Gravity of stellar bodies usually does not change. How does it help to use light years to measure the distances between? There is no connection between this. And again, the speed of light is always same. This statement is again because of the adjective, because of this the word always is again wrong, because the speed of light could be changed according to the mediums. Maximum is in the vacuum. So A, B and D to my mind are incorrect. So the most probably the answer would be this C. Light always travel in a straight line. That is why we use this as the astronomical distances. However, there is a chance to differ with my opinion, that classical physics says that this is light always travel in a straight line. However, modern physics had different kinds of idea about this travels, straight line travels of this light. So with this elimination method, the most probably the answer would be this: light always traveling in a straight line, and that has certain kinds of relation with astronomical distances also. So here I think the answer is C. The next question we move on is question number 27, and that is from polity section. The question is: we adopted parliamentary democracy based on British model. Yes, most of the things comes from this model only. But how does our model differ from that model? Indian parliamentary system is little bit different from British, and the question asks you to identify those differences. The statement is, first statement is, as regards legislation, in context of legislation, the British Parliament is supreme. But in India, the power of Parliament to legislate is limited. We have supremacy of the Constitution in India. That is why you can say the Parliament is not supreme, or the Parliament to legislate is limited. So the half of this statement is correct. Again, we have seen that constitution is not supreme there, and the parliament could make any law. So the parliament there in the British is supreme. The statement is correct in full length. Now this second statement is, in India, matters related to the constitutionality of the amendment of an act of the parliament are referred to the constitution bench by the Supreme Court. In this statement, if there is the constitutionality of the amendment of an act, if there is an act, the act is whether it is constitutionally valid or not, this will be decided by the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is the custodian of the constitution, and this will not decided by any bench, but the bench is specially constituted for this purpose, and that bench is called Constitution Bench. So statement 2 is India matters related to the constitution of the amendment of the act of the parliament are referred to the Constitution Bench by the Supreme Court. To my mind, this statement 2 is also correct. In India, matters related to the constitutionality of the amendment of the act of the parliament referred to the Constitution Bench by the Supreme Court. Yes. So I would suggest answer C, but most likely there could be a difference between this option A and option C, where to some grounds this could not be treated as correct one. But I will go with the statement C, because in India this is the case when there is a check for this constitutionality of any act, that is being done by the Supreme Court under Constitution Bench. So again this 2 and my answer is C. The next is with reference to union government, consider the following statements. Question number 28. N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar suggested that it is for administrative reforms committee, suggested that a minister and a secretary to be designated solely, focus on this word, solely, for pursuing the subject of administrative reforms and performing it. Even though defense secretary and other things are established after the recommendation, but this is not so in the recommendation of N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar. So the first statement is wrong, because it doesn't recommend, suggest any ministry or secretary solely for the administrative reforms. And the option 2 is, in 1970 the Department of Personnel was constituted on the recommendation of the administrative reforms. Yes, it was so, and this was placed under the Prime Minister. Earlier it was placed under the Prime Minister. So this statement is correct. For after Prime Minister it was handed over to the Home Ministry of Home. So earlier under Prime Minister it was there. So the option 2 would be correct, and the answer 1 wrong and 2 correct is option B, that is 2 only. Now move on to the next question. Question number 29. Right to privacy is protected under which article of the Constitution? It is a bit easy for those who remember this article part. So this is under this fundamental rights given under Article 21. So for 29 the answer is C. Let's move on to the next, and that is question number 30. Question number 30 says, consider the following statements. The first statement is, in India, there is no law restricting the candidates from contesting in one Lok Sabha election from 3 constituencies. In India, there is a law in RPA 1951 clause 33(7). So this restricts the candidates to contest not more than 2 constituencies in one Lok Sabha election. So the first thing is, there is no law. It is not mentioned that whether constitution mentions or not. Simply it says there is no law. There are law under this RP 1951, and after 1996 it is restricted only to the 2 seats in one Lok Sabha election. So we can say that this statement is wrong because there is a law in India. The second statement is, in 1991 Lok Sabha election, Shri Devilal contested from 3 Lok Sabha constituencies. This is purely a factual question, factual statement. Let's see the third statement first, and then we'll come to the second. As per the existing rules, if a candidate contests in one Lok Sabha elections from many constituencies, his or her party should bear the cost of by-elections to the constituencies vacated by him or her in the event of him or her winning in the all constituencies. Suppose one person contested from 2 constituencies and got elected at one place, and one or got elected from both the places. In such situation, he has to leave one of the constituencies, and by-election is going to be conducted by the Election Commission, and the statement says the expenses would be borne by this party. By now this is not so in India, but yes, there is a demand from some section to bring such laws so that the cost of this election, the burden of this cost would be lessened. But this is demand so far, not incorporated into law. So you can say this third statement is also not correct. So only now let's see the options. What is option? Option is 1 and 3 is incorrect. 1 and 3 is incorrect, and the option 1 and 3 is incorrect. Then only one option is left, and that is option number 2, and that says that in 1991 Lok Sabha elections, Shri Devilal contested from 3 Lok Sabha constituencies. This is factual one. By solving 1 and 3, we can say only 2 would be the right answer. So for question number 30, the answer is B. Now move on to the next one. Question number 31. And question number 31 says, the vegetation of savanna consists of grassland with scattered small trees but extensively. This gives up features of the land, that is the savanna. What are the features? Scattered small trees, scattered, 2 things are there. but extensive areas have no trees, and no trees, that means scattered and no trees. The forest development in such areas, if you want to develop forest in that areas, is generally kept in check by one or more or a combination of some conditions. What kinds of conditions actually prevent you to develop forest there in savanna? So these are the conditions, and you have to give a combination of these conditions as an option. The conditions that is given is, first is burrowing animals and termites, the second is fire, third is grazing herbivores, seasonal rainfall, and soil properties. For this question, we can see that this fire, grazing herbivores, seasonal rainfall, these are the things that prevent you for forest development in those areas where trees are scattered, or for extensive areas there are no trees. Yes, so these conditions, if there are, your forest development program could be hampered. So the answer could be C, 2, 3 and 4 most likely, but there could be another explanation also for this question. To my mind, it is answer option number C, 2, 3 and 4, which prevent you for extensive development of forest in savanna. This question is over. Now question number 32. Question number 32 is about, with reference to the water on planet Earth, consider the following statements. It is about the water. The first statement is, the amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater. We have maximum water in ocean. So oceanic water, you can say it is about 97.2%. And glacier and ice caps, these are about 2%. And groundwater, is about 0.61%. If we river is about 0.0001%. The least of all is from river. So if we combine this river, the amount of water, the first statement, the amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater. And for groundwater, we have 0.61% and groundwater is 0.61%. And river is negligible, river plus lakes. Lakes is 0.009%. So you can say that river and this lakes together is 0.007%. So comparatively, groundwater is much more than river and lakes together. So the statement is the amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more. No, this is not so. This is just opposite. The amount of groundwater is much more than the amounts of water in rivers and lakes. So statement 1 is incorrect. The second statement is the amount of water in polar ice caps and glacier is more than the amount of groundwater. So we have seen that glacier and the ice caps is of about 2.15% and groundwater is about 0.61%. So yes, ice caps and polar and glaciers is more than that of groundwater. This is correct. So 1 is wrong and 2 is correct. You have to choose the correct one. So we have only one option, that is only 2. So for question number 2, only 2 is the correct answer, that is B. Now move on to the next. And 33 question is about drumstick. The statement is drumstick is leguminous evergreen. First statement is wrong because this is deciduous. Yes, it is leguminous but not evergreen. So the statement 1 is incorrect. Again, the second statement is tamarind tree is endemic. Tamarind tree is endemic to South Asia. Endemic means restricted or found only in the South Asia, but this is not so. So 1 and 2 is not correct. Only with this 1 and 2, with the help of this 1 and 2, we can choose our option. 1 and 2 is not correct. The answer B and C. No, only B. Do not have 1 and 2. So the answer would be B. 3, 4 and 5. And this is used in biofuels also. So the answer is B, 3, 4 and 5. Now come to the next, and that is 34th. The black cotton soil of India has been formed due to, yes, we know the black soils are formed because of this volcanic eruptions, the fissures of volcanic rock. So the option is B, comparatively it is easy. Now the next question is question number 35. And the question is, with reference to recent developments regarding recombinant vector vaccines, consider the following statements. And the statements are, the first is, genetic engineering is applied in the development of these vaccines. You have to see whether this genetic engineering is applied or not. And bacteria and viruses are used as vectors. So recombinant vector vaccines, the vaccines is actually carry, when this recombinant carry extra genes derived from pathogens, and these extra genes produce proteins against which we want to develop or generate immunity. So for immunity, the gene is taken from these pathogens, the extra genes, and that is why there is something of the genetic engineering. So the first statement is correct, and the second statement is bacteria and viruses are used as vectors. Yes, these vectors are used. We know that this a Salmonella typhi, the bacteria, and adeno that is there in comes under this viruses. So this statement is also true. If you go with the statement, if both 1 and 2 is correct, the answer is C, 35. 36 is in the context of hereditary diseases, consider the following statements. Hereditary diseases. Passing on mitochondrial diseases from parent to child can be prevented by mitochondrial replacement therapy. Yes, this is true. Passing on mitochondrial diseases from parent to child can be prevented by mitochondrial replacement therapy, either before or after in vitro fertilization. This statement is partly true, that hereditary diseases could be prevented or mitochondrial diseases could be prevented through this mitochondrial replacement at the time of in vitro fertilization. But the statement says either before or after in vitro fertilization. So to my mind, the statement is incorrect because of this, either before or after. Otherwise, it would be correct. So, by now you can say this statement 1 is incorrect. Now, the second statement is a child inherits mitochondrial diseases entirely from, yes, it is exclusively from mothers to the child. So, the statement 2 is correct. If we look at the options, 1 is wrong, 2 is right. We have this option 2 only. So for the question number 36, B option that shows 2 only is correct. Now move on to the next, and that is about Bollgard 1 and 2 technologies. This Bollgard technology is related to BT cotton in India, and the Bollgard 1 and 2 actually shows single gene technology in Bollgard 1 and double gene technology for Bollgard 2. So it is a protection against insects and other things, and we have utilized it for BT cotton. So from this information, just look at this option. The option is colonial propagation of crop. Clone nahi hota. So this is wrong. Developing genetically modified crop plants. Yes, we have the answer. Option B. For 37, Bollgard 1 and Bollgard 2, the option B, that is developing genetically modified crop plants, and we have the example of BT cotton. So the answer is B. Now move on to the next. Question number 38. Question 38 is, in a pressure cooker, the temperature at which the food is cooked depends mainly upon which of the following? Mainly. This is actually, you have to show the major things that affect the temperature of the pressure cooker. This area of the hole in the lid, yes, it affects. So you can say yes, this is temperature of the flame, weight of the lid. This could also affect, but these are the least important. and the most important is area of the hole in the lid. So the answer could be only one. We have no option as only one. So we have to move to different analysis. More we have to think more. One is obviously it is correct, because if area is larger, it could affect the pressure and temperature. For 38, I would give this also temperature of the flame as one of the mainly upon which of the following. So if we choose from these three, the main thing that is very much associated with this temperature of pressure cooker could be, the most important could be the area of the hole in the lid, and we do not have the option only one, so we can also choose from these 2 and 3, and to my mind this is main. This could also be affected but least important. So to my mind we can choose this option A, 1 and 2 only. Yes. The next question is question number 39, and that is about, consider the following. One is bacteria, another is fungi, and third one is the virus. And what is that? Which of the above can be cultured in artificial or synthetic? Artificial and synthetic, not natural. So by using this artificial and synthetic medium, which of the above combination of bacteria, fungi and virus could be cultured? So first thing, we can eliminate the virus, because synthetically it cannot be generated. It needs some living cells to behave like living things. So bacteria could be and fungi could be, but not viruses. So with this keeping in mind, we can choose our option 1 and 2. The first option, that is A, 1 and 2 only, could be our answer. Now move on to the next question, and that is question number 40. Consider the following statements. Adenoviruses have single-stranded DNA genomes, whereas retrovirus have double-stranded DNA genomes. We must have identified this statement as wrong one very easily. Why? Because retrovirus, as we seen in the HIV, this is a kind of RNA genomes, having RNA genomes. So this statement, from this only, this is wrong. Again you can say that adenovirus is not single-stranded but double-stranded. So it's a completely incorrect statement. The second one is, common cold is sometime caused by an adenovirus, whereas AIDS is caused by retrovirus. We know that AIDS is caused by retrovirus. HIV is one of the example of this retrovirus, and common cold is caused by adenovirus. This is true. Even pneumonia, fever, these kinds of things also can be caused by this adenovirus. So this statement is the true or the correct one. So according to this options, 1 incorrect and 2 correct, we have B options. So B would be the correct answer here. 2 only, because 1 is incorrect. So by now, this next part of this question will be discussed very soon. Thank you very much.
हेलो एवरीबॉडी। अब हम इसका इकोनॉमिक सेक्शन जो है क्वेश्चन 81 से आगे वो डिस्कस करेंगे। 81 से आगे
Note. Scroll for scrolling.
ठीक
Writing.
ठीक है।
Simple one finger. Yes.
क्वेश्चन नंबर 81
ये कर दो, बंद कर दो दोबारा स्टार्ट।